Welcome everybody to Sportscast Weekly, WFO Entertainment. What's up, guys? How y'all doing today? I'm here with Purest Visions and Insane Pain Game. We're going to talk about some NFL football news around the league, injury reports, weekly predictions, and some fantasy football.
What up?
Hey.
How's everyone doing today?
Oh, doing great, man. Doing great.
Okay. You?
Oh yeah.
Fantastic. So let's talk about our predictions first.
All right. Let me show that on the screen.
So for everybody that doesn't know, last week was our first week, and we did our first predictions, and we know who the winner is. So if you can look right here on the screen, you can see that I believe I win 10-8. Is that right?
Yes, you got 10 points to my 8.
Yes.
So we'll,
but you did call the big game, the Broncos-Colts game. That was probably the hardest game to call, I think.
They squeaked it out by 6 points. Am I correct on that?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Barely got away with it.
So the Broncos have been dethroned from their undefeated season, which I didn't anticipate them going all the way and winning out anyways, even though they do have a really good squad. But I didn't see them winning it out because the chances of that are just slim. I mean, you know, what year was that the Dolphins did that? 1968 or something like
84.
that?
84. It was in the 80s.
Was it in the 80s?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think you're right now that I think about it. Yeah.
Didn't the New England Patriots in 2007 go like 19-0 and then they lost?
Yeah, they went right
against
to the
Giants?
Super Bowl.
They lost in the big game.
I'm very proud of the Giants stepping up twice in the Super Bowl and not letting Brady and Belichick get more rings. Yeah. Just they have too many, so
they deserve it though.
So
they played well.
Do you guys want to do a brief rundown over some of these games that we have here on the screen, or?
Well, sure. Let's just start with the since it's the most boring one, the Giants and Vikings game. I know you didn't watch that one, Mortimer, but you really didn't miss much. I mean, it was probably one of the worst games I think I've ever watched.
So was it just piss poor offense and defense on both sides of the ball for both teams? Basically,
yeah. I mean, it was just, they were fumbling it and recovering their own balls, and it was like watching paint dry. It was that boring.
Freeman was off. He had a terrible opener for the Vikings.
Yeah. I was listening to a talk show radio sports show that I listened to in the mornings today, as a matter of fact, and they were talking about how bad Freeman was. One guy was even saying, and I don't know if he was serious, but he's like, he thought that the coaches in the league that hired Freeman, and that he compared two other quarterbacks. I forget who they were, but that's not really that important. But what he was saying is he was thinking that they were conspiring to have the worst who could have the worst quarterback in the league or something like that. It was a pretty crazy statement.
Well, he will play better. I think he'll adjust to the system. It takes weeks to learn the system and the receivers. So they have a pretty solid foundation. We'll see how Freeman handles it. But the Detroit-Cincinnati game was pretty crazy with the two big games from both receivers, Calvin Johnson and A.J. Green. They both had 150 plus, and that went into OT, I believe, or did they get the field goal before OT?
I think it was before OT.
Okay.
But I mean, going back to the Vikings game, am I the only one that feels bad for Adrian Peterson? Like, the dude needs to get himself on a good team that can win. You know what I mean? I feel really bad for the guy. Just the simple fact that he's not getting those rings that he deserves and winning those games and going to the playoffs like he deserves to have.
Yeah, well, a lot of players, same with Calvin Johnson or other teams, he'll get the chance if they can solidify their defense played well for what it was worth, the Vikings defense. They were on the field a lot. Like you said, all the turnovers put them in pretty bad positions, and their defense held up. So they just need to get that offense down, and they'll be a better team. And they had a shot in the playoffs last year. But their quarterback spot, I think that's obviously the huge gaping hole.
Yeah, and we talked about it last week, I think, more, man. I was telling you that They need a quarterback over there in Minnesota, and not no offense to Josh Freeman, but he's not like he wasn't that good on his previous team, so it's not like he's just this amazing quarterback that they brought over. They need to get somebody that's good. You know what I
Well,
mean?
they're going to start him and roll with him for now on. I mean, he's a guy who can get you wins. He's had some success in Tampa Bay. Yes, struggled the last couple games, but he's better than a young Ponder right now or a Matt Castle. Like
Yeah,
you start him and you can Christian Ponder can still grow and hopefully one of those two guys. I don't know how
hopefully.
else. It's hard to get a quarterback other than I mean they're going to roll with Freeman right now.
And Giants are just a catastrophe, man. I mean, just really, they're so bad. I mean, Victor Cruz, I don't know if you saw, it was towards the end of the game. Victor Cruz could have caught that last ball in the end zone. He went right through his hands, man. Like,
Hakeem
literally.
Nicks dropped a lot of passes as well.
Yeah, you think he's going to get traded?
I don't know. I want him off my fantasy team though. I can't give him any more spots.
I think he's going to get traded. I don't
But there
see.
were some better games, obviously. That Denver Indy game.
That was a good game. Yeah.
That was
I didn't
definitely
watch that full game, though. But it from what I did watch it was a good game.
what Indy did. So Peyton was obviously choked up. They gave him the big celebration. But when he played in Indy, they never had the stadium open. Only two times they had it open, and he hated it. So what did Indy do when he came to town? They opened it up. They played with part of the dome or like the dome open, and like
Mhm.
there was obviously some weather elements, not huge, but he hated that. So that was great.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you had to know it was going to be kind of an emotional thing. I mean, he was with the Colts for a long time, so to come back there for the
Yeah.
first time and have to play against his, previous teammates, that had to be a little bit emotional. And then to lose again, oh, that's the irony is just amazing. I love it. If I could have picked any team to beat Denver, it would have been Colts, just for the simple fact that that was the team that dropped him.
And I believe Denver gets a shot at Kansas City either next week. No, it's not till week 11 actually.
Week 11?
Yeah, that's
You think Kansas City will make it that long?
undefeated. No, I'd have to look at their schedule. I don't believe that they're the best team in the AFC. They're playing very well, but I'm not ready to call them
Yeah,
the team
that's
in
what
the
I say
AFC.
too. I think that they're. We looked at their schedule last week. I don't remember exactly what's on their schedule. Can one of you guys pull that up?
They have a pretty good. They're at home to Cleveland, and then they go on the road to Buffalo,
Hmm.
and then they have their bye. So they get their bye week to get ready for Denver. So they do have a
Yeah, they've
favorable
got at least
schedule.
two. They do have a possibility of then of two more wins before they get to Denver.
The
But
thing is,
then they
though,
have.
is
Go ahead.
Then they're going to have their hands full.
Sorry, go ahead.
well, I mean, they've kind of just squeaked by in their wins. Look at that win against Houston. They won by
That's
one
true.
point.
The
One point.
Dallas win also.
Hmm.
Yeah, the Dallas win also. They squeaked by some of these wins, man. They're gonna go up against Denver, and I think they're gonna get smashed up.
I do believe Denver will beat them. At least they get a shot in the playoffs. I mean, they have Denver 2 out of 3 weeks after that. It goes Denver, San Diego, Denver.
And they're gonna lose
Wa-
both games to Denver.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see.
They're gonna get
I think so as well.
they
But
could
we'll.
very well end up a 9-17.
Oh, that gets
yeah.
them. That's going to get them in the playoffs. I think they have a game against Oakland in Oakland. They play Indy and then San Diego at the end of the year. Washington. Those are tough games.
Yeah, and
Not Oakland.
I don't see them. I don't even know how they've gotten this far, really. I mean, I know Andy Reid, is over there, and everyone in Philly or some Philadelphia fans are kind of a little bit upset about that. The fact that he goes over to Kansas City and all of a sudden has a 7-0 team. But I don't know, man. I don't know what he did there to get them to that point to be 7-0. But last year they were like garbage.
Yeah, 2-14 to 7-0. Well, there's a huge. The team's improved in many areas, right? Like they're protecting the quarterback, Alex Smith, Jamal Charles is healthy. He's running the ball well. Their defense is playing well, and yeah, they're getting some close wins. They should have a chance in the playoffs at least.
Alex Smith though, I think he's a really good
It's
quarterback.
good to see Andy Reid and Alex Smith both get a chance after their previous situations and succeed in Kansas City. It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Andy Reid, but Alex Smith, I like him as a quarterback. I think that San Francisco kind of made a mistake with that, but maybe he just didn't fit in with that offense the way they wanted it to be, I guess.
I heard that was a big problem of it as well. Because at the
Yeah.
start of the season, you saw Michael Vick. They were the number one fantasy team overall. McCoy was running the ball well. Vick was throwing bombs. I had Steven Jackson last year. He did nothing under Andy Reid's system. And then at the start of this season, Deshaun Jackson went off for a lot of yards, touchdowns. Vick was throwing. McCoy was running. They were fluid offense.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy how
It's
quick
just
things can turn
systems.
around.
Yeah, sometimes it's the system.
So
Yeah.
the Redskins were able to beat the Bears.
That was pretty crazy, just overall game back and
Yeah,
forth.
they were putting up some points on that game.
Yeah, that was a pretty big fantasy week for sure.
But Jay Cutler got hurt
Yeah, he did.
some part through the game. So I mean, I think if Jay Cutler wouldn't have got hurt, then it would have been a whole different story.
Do you guys think that Jay Cutler may get cut because he's so injury prone
No, I
lately?
think it's an overreaction. I feel that, and Bears fans know this from their previous quarterbacks. He's the best quarterback. Not just him has been injured the last couple of years. They missed the playoffs, in my opinion, the last 2 years because Forte went down. Key
Yeah.
pieces of their defense went down, and that's how Minnesota, I felt, slipped into the playoffs last year, and Detroit the previous year was Chicago Bear injuries. Cutler is known as, I guess, a faker. People say that, a wimp.
Well, I mean,
You've heard it.
yeah, I've definitely heard it, and the way he acts towards his receivers too. I don't like the way he acts towards some of his teammates on the sideline. I don't know if you saw that last year, but you know, I they do a lot of things overreacting. So I wouldn't say that he couldn't get traded, but the likelihood is low. But teams overreact all the time and do stupid
But
things like that.
you can't do it in the middle of the season, though. If you look at it, a team probably will. I mean, he'll come back. They're 4-3. They're fighting for the division right now. You don't just trade your starting quarterback. They're Green Bay's 4-2, Detroit's 4-3, Chicago's 4-3. Like you're fighting for your division. You will not trade your quarterback
No,
in
I
this
don't mean
spot.
right now. I don't mean
Oh,
they're
after
just
the
saying
season.
yeah after the season's
Well, if
over.
you can upgrade, yeah. If they can upgrade, that's the thing, though. Can you upgrade from Jay Cutler? A lot of Bears fans may want him gone, but
Yeah,
you have to.
not going to be very many premium quarterbacks available.
Right. Him and Brandon Marshall haven't like if you look at what happened for the first couple games of the season, the Bears were 3-1, 4-2, I believe. So they were playing well. He gets hurt, they're 4-3. I mean, their season's fine for now. It's just what's the health of Jay Cutler.
I wouldn't worry too much about fans though, because some fans, I'm sorry, are just dumb. Like the fans who say get rid of Tony Romo. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah,
Well, you
I
can't.
think a lot of people in the league are starting to come around to Tony Romo. He's not getting as much hate lately because we are we've got a half-assed decent season going, but his stats. I mean he's had decent stats in the past, but this year alone, his stats just continue to improve. And I think eventually people, if he keeps going down the path that he's headed now, if he can somehow, if they can get into the playoffs this year, and if he can get a Super Bowl win before he retires, I think that he'll not only be a Ring of Honor player for the Dallas Cowboys, but I think he has a really good chance at being in the Hall of Fame without a Super Bowl, just simply because of his stats and his record. He is the number one all-time passing leader in 100 games.
Yes. Yeah, they were talking about that. And his stats have always been, I mean, for the past few years have been really good. And he is, if you look at almost every single stat for quarterbacks right now, he's in the top five.
Yeah, and he's been in the
So,
top five for the last few years.
yeah. So, I mean, the people that say, "Oh, get rid of Tony Romo," they just don't know anything. They don't look at stats. They don't look at
Yeah.
what he's been doing. because he's performing. He's
Well, that's
doing
another
his job.
quarterback you're not going to get rid of. He's in the system. That's your guy for the next. I don't know how
Yeah.
much longer they have him
He's
signed.
30. He's 33 years old. He was on the bench for 3 years before he played, so they say he is kind of a young 33 because he hasn't had as many years in the league as other 33-year-old quarterbacks. So as long as he can remain healthy, we should have him, for quite a few years more to
Yeah,
go.
he's your quarterback for the next couple
Yeah.
years. But Dallas fans, let's remember, only one playoff win in the last
10
years of. Yeah, you
or
can.
11
The stats
years
are
maybe.
good. I wouldn't say phenomenal. I know you guys love your Cowboys, but you guys got
Hey,
to
no
get.
one said phenomenal.
Yeah, I wouldn't say phenomenal either, but his stats are more than good.
Yeah.
I think his stats are at least excellent. There's 11 men on the field at a time, so no one quarterback can carry a team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's that dog.
Yeah, so to say get rid of Romo and all of a sudden all our problems are solved is
Nah.
the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my
And
life.
who
Getting
in
rid of
the-
Romo.
Who in the hell would they get to replace him anyways? And
No, you wouldn't get rid of Romo.
Certainly not going to be Kyle Orton.
Fuck no. That dude ain't
mean,
gonna do shit.
He's at least we do have a veteran second string quarterback, but I'd rather have Kyle Orton as our backup than I guess anybody else right now. But who's the rookie, the guy that's behind?
Oh, I forget his
Kyle
name,
Orton.
man. I forgot his name. I haven't heard his name in a while.
Oh, they were talking about this morning on the show that I listened to about emergency quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about like Jay Cutler because he's injured, and they were talking about Eli Manning. He's not doing well. All the quarterbacks that are not doing well right now, and they were talking about in worst case scenario, because like every team carries like 3 quarterbacks, right? You carry the starter, a backup, and then a rookie. But what happens if none of them are available? You've got to have somebody on the team with some kind of quarterback experience in their lifetime. You may have a guy that plays tight end that might have been a quarterback in high school. That has some kind of skill, some kind of quarterback skill. Or you might have a kicker that was a quarterback at some point in his career.
I don't know about a kicker.
Well,
probably by the time all that happened.
Remember that kicker that we had last year, that big beefy dude?
Are you talking about Cowboys?
Yeah, on the Cowboys.
Dan Bailey?
No, the guy
Who you talking about then?
the place kicker. The guy, I mean, not the place kicker, the kickoff guy.
I don't remember who
he used to launch that ball through the uprights like every time. He had like the most touchbacks in the league.
The problem is they switched Dan Bailey to do that. I think it was sometime last year.
They switched him because they cut the other guy.
Yeah,
but
I don't
anyway,
remember his
they were
name.
saying that I don't have any idea what his name is, and I hate to spout off live without knowing. Anyway, they said he was the most athletic player that they had on the team. I mean, the guy was physically fit like a brick shit house. He had played. He'd obviously played football all of his life. He'd played multiple positions before, and he could actually outrun almost everyone on the team. He was fast, but the thing that he was best at was kicking, and he had a leg on him.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it.
I was trying to look it up. I don't remember who he was though. I know who you're talking about. I just don't know who, he was exactly. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like, that would be interesting though to see.
David Bueller.
Bueller, yeah, that motherfucker.
Bueller.
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 Yeah, he was a big dude.
Yeah.
Definitely a big dude.
He was drafted by the Cowboys in the 5th round in 2009. He was named the All-Mission Conference National Division First Team. Bueller finished the regular season with 29 touchbacks, the most of all NFL kickers.
We should have kept that motherfucker. 2009 was the season we went to the playoffs for the first time in forever.
Yeah.
Good luck charm right there.
All right, you guys got your win against the Eagles.
Dude, that was a great season. I mean, just the way that we went into the playoffs was fantastic. You beat the shit out of the Eagles the first game, destroyed them the next game, then went and played the Vikings. Man, should have won that Vikings game.
Oh, that's right. Against Favre and the Vikings.
Should have won that game, man. That was ugh. That was a nasty game. I hated watching every second of it too. Every time they scored, I was like, "Fuck, happening again." But back to what we were talking about. Yeah, people who say get rid of Romo and even Cutler. Like I don't like Cutler. I don't like him. I don't think he's all that. But he's still better than anybody they could
Yeah, I
bring.
don't know
Getting.
whoever's saying that. They don't know what they're talking about.
It was on NFL.com. It was like an article talking about uh,
Yeah.
trading Cutler.
I
But that would
mean,
just be a
but what are
mistake.
you? That's what I'm saying. These people that write these articles, it's like, what are you going to trade them for in the middle of your season when you're 4-3? I mean, what are you
Yeah,
going to do?
exactly. How about Geno Smith though?
Yeah, the Jets
Beating
4-3.
beating the New England Patriots. That was a good game. I watched that game.
I did not. I saw the highlights.
I was not expecting them to beat the New England
I
Patriots.
don't think anyone was. Gronkowski played. I don't know. I didn't see it all, but did he? He seemed to catch the ball well.
Yeah, but he wasn't a really big factor like he usually
Yeah.
is. I feel bad for Brady. He needs some receivers, man.
Well, getting Gronkowski back, and that Tompkins guy is a young. I believe he's a rookie, but you're right. He's not happy right now. You can tell.
No, I think Patriots are one of the candidates to trade for Knicks. I think that'd be good.
Oh, Nick's pisses me off. That guy can't, he has a lot of drop passes. I
Yeah,
watched
but
them.
I think, it. So I think if he went to a different team, it might be different.
I believe so.
I
Well,
think if
yeah,
he went
if
to Tom
he
Brady,
okay, that
you
makes
know what I
sense
mean?
for yeah, for
Knicks and
both
Tom
teams.
Brady with
It
Gronkowski.
depends what he's getting paid right now,
He's getting
because
paid a
they're
lot.
right. So the Patriots can't take that contract then because they're tied up with they
Well, he's
pay
not getting
Gronk.
paid that much. I mean, he's getting paid. He's by a lot. I mean, he was in the top five for the Giants, how much they're paying their players. He was
Yeah,
one of the top five. But
but
I
I don't know
still
if that.
think, well, they're talking about it. They've been discussing it, and I think that'd be a good duo right there, just for the time being, just to get somebody there for
Oh,
him
to
to
give
throw.
Brady a target, another target with Gronkowski and Tompkins, and I don't know if Amendola's hurt or if he's just I haven't seen it from him in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, he needs somebody to throw to, or he needs one of these rookies to step up and actually, do something.
Well, that Tompkins guy, he's done not last week, but I believe at the end of the New Orleans game, and on
Mhm.
Monday Night Football, he had a pretty big game. I forget who the Patriots played. So I call that Tompkins guy is going to be a good Patriot for the next couple of years.
Think he's going to be a Terrence Williams like for the
They
Cowboys?
say he's another rookie who's been playing well. Actually, he got your touchdown on the weekend. Yeah, he's a nice
He's
pickup
had
for
a
the
touchdown
Cowboys.
every game since that game against Denver.
Nice.
He's doing really good, and I think he's going to win that third spot. I mean, I love Miles Austin. I've always been a Miles Austin fan, but man, that Terrence Williams guy, he can really do some shit, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's got a good nice career ahead of him, I believe.
Oh
Yeah, you don't
yeah.
have to pay him that much right now, and your running game's going well. The Cowboys do have a lot to be happy about
Yeah, he's
with
probably
the
making the
run
league
game.
minimum right now.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what's they need to pay him more, I think. Because if he continues doing what he's doing now, they need to pay him more.
Yeah. Well, look at the
yeah.
raise that they gave Miles Austin that year, the year after his breakout season.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that's why he hasn't been doing so good because he feels like he doesn't need to perform.
I don't believe that's it. I mean, I think these guys are used to having money. You know, most of them have had, after their first season. I mean, league minimum's $465,000 a year. So even the lowest paid player on the team, and that's let's see, yeah, the 52-man roster, lowest man on the team is going to make 460 465 or 468 a year. That's almost, that's like $500,000. So
Yeah, but receivers get paid more, and he's trying to earn his contract for the next 3-4
yeah, I
years.
mean, I don't really think money has a lot to do with their performance at this level. Once they make it to the NFL and they start making some serious cash, I think it'd be a little far fetched to say that they get comfortable with their wealth, because they all know from friends and other NFL players, after the average life expectancy for an NFL player is 3 years. And if you make it those 3 years and you don't blow all your money, then you might be able to set yourself up financially for the rest of your life if you're careful. But if you're careless with it and reckless with your money, and you don't spend it wisely, then you could be broke and out of the NFL and without a job, because most of them they've all played football all their life. They played it in college. A lot of them have never had a regular job. And and so they get to the NFL, they start making some serious money, and they're thinking of their families and their futures. All the rookies, make some stupid mistakes when they first get that, they get that first check. But after they're all millionaires and everything, I don't think they get lazy because of the money that they're making.
Well, you'd be surprised how many people go bankrupt. NFL stars, NBA stars.
Oh, absolutely. That's the point I was making. A lot of them do, because they don't make good financial decisions. But I think I don't think that has to do with their performance.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
The thing though is like, I feel like if he thinks that he doesn't have to, because he knows he's getting paid, and they haven't said, oh, we're thinking about dropping you or anything like that, or they're considering trading him or anything, so he can pretty much just do whatever and doesn't have to be that top receiver that they want him to be.
If he gets cut, though, he will lose some of that money. Not all that money is guaranteed.
Oh, I understand that. I'm just saying that, money is a factor, and I think it's a factor. Because if you look at, like Romo, they just paid him a lot of money. Now he doesn't have to worry about, losing his job like he was worried about before, because everyone wanted him to lose his job, obviously.
Yeah, but he still has to play and perform if he wants to keep that contract. Because what they'll do is if they were to cut him, they'd buy him out of his contract. We'd have to eat some of the money towards our salary cap, but then he wouldn't get those. He wouldn't get those years of guarantee. Those years of.
They're not getting rid of Romo. They're not
getting. I mean, hypothetically though, as far as the money goes, I mean, if one of those players gets cut, that's the top tier player, they're looking at potentially losing millions of dollars.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like I said, I've always been a fan of Miles Austin, but if he continues to play the way he has been playing for the past 2 years, he's gone at the end of this year.
I wonder how many times he's been thrown to. This doesn't seem like that Tony's even throwing to him. So either he's not open, or Tony doesn't have the faith that he'll catch the ball.
I didn't even know he was playing.
He has. Yeah, he's been playing, but you haven't been hearing his name because he hasn't been a factor.
Yeah, with Beasley in there now and Williams, it just seems very unlikely unless he steps up and has some really, really good games. I feel like he will definitely be traded or something at the end of this season.
Well, is he on contract still? They just would not re-sign him.
He's on contract still. I haven't heard anything about re-signing or anything. It's been a few years since he got his last contract.
It says he's only played the first 3 games. He played against New York, targeted 12 times, 10 receptions, and then 31 yards and 22 yards in the next 2 games, and then hasn't played.
He's played the last 2 games.
Has he? Why is it not showing here? That's odd.
Probably because he hasn't caught a fucking ball.
That'd be terrible. Yeah. I
don't think he caught a ball this last game. I don't remember even seeing him have a yard this last game, to be honest with you. Beasley had some yards. Dez had some yards.
He didn't have one. It says here Miles Austin goes without a catch once again, October 20th.
Oh, that's why I didn't show his other stats there.
Yeah, he hasn't caught it. And that shit's just not.
He's had
Is he getting that many
he's
reps?
for 2013. He's had 15 receptions for 125 yards. His average is 8.3. He's had,
Terrible.
of course, he's had no touchdowns. But those are his stats.
You have to be happy with the emergence of Des Bryant, obviously.
I am. I am very happy that we have somebody like Des Bryant.
for the
But,
next.
however, I do think Miles Austin is a top receiver. He just hasn't been playing like one. And I don't know why. And I don't know what the deal is. Is he not happy with the team? Does he not want to be there anymore? Like, what is the deal?
Could be from his
I've
injuries.
got his from 2006 to 2012 his receptions.
Hmm?
His first year as a rookie, so 2007 5 receptions, 2008 13, 2009 81. Then he went for 1,320 yards that year.
Yeah, that was the year they went to the playoffs.
Yeah. The next year, 2010, 69 for 1,041 yards. 2011, 43 for 579, which is a severe drop. And then 2012, 66 for 943, which is respectful. But you can see a peak. It's like he started out as expected, like most rookies. Then he peaked, and now he's going back down.
And he peaked, went down, came back up a little bit, and then now is going way down. I don't get it, man. I really don't. I mean, it could be a lot of it. Last year could have been because of Des Bryant's all of a sudden just beast mode happening. That's why he didn't get as many last year. But this year, there's kind of really no excuse. Like, they still need a second wide receiver. They don't just throw to Dez the whole entire fucking time. What's he been doing? I know he was hurt for a few games, but I mean, damn. Like, I remember they threw a ball to him last week that he could have clearly caught. He just didn't go for it. And it's like, he's gonna get cut if he continues this trend of not playing and not performing. Because I don't know if you guys know Jerry Jones, but he's not about that. He'll straight cut you.
Well, he's not signed on a long-term contract.
Miles Austin's got a 6-year deal, and he's in his 4th year right now. It's $54 million.
Yeah, he needs to do something this year, or Jerry Jones is not
I'm
gonna.
sorry, he's in his 2nd year of his 6-year deal.
Oh, really?
It says here, Austin hasn't come close to playing up to his $54 million standards in the first 2 seasons of his 6-year deal. He has regressed since cashing in after his 2009 breaking season.
Sometimes. Like you said, some people get comfortable after they sign a nice deal.
He's been plagued with hamstring strains.
Because that's what I was going to say. I thought he was injured, and I just looked, and it appears he played every game last year. And like he said, Pierce Vision said how frustrated he is with him because he has been playing every game, and
He's just not
producing.
playing like he should. That's what I mean. Like that's what I meant earlier. Is like he's just too comfortable. He got that big ass contract and all. And as soon as he got that contract next year, he's just like, okay, I don't really need to do all as good as I did before because I got the contract now.
He got $17 million base salary in his first year of his deal, but the Cowboys exploited a loophole in their uncapped season by, well, here I'll read. As reported by ESPN's Adam Schefter, the league docked the Cowboys $10 million of cap space, which can be split over the next 2 seasons, essentially for exploiting a loophole in the uncapped season by giving Austin a $17 million base salary in the first year of his deal.
Yeah, I mean they didn't just lose money with that. They lost 2 years of $5 million cap space, which has kind of been hurting them a little bit. But it's he's gonna be gone if he doesn't do something, which is it's shitty. But we got Dez, we got Williams, who seems to be performing.
Yeah, you guys
very
have
well.
enough weapons. It's just I just realized he's taking up so much more of your cap space than I thought.
How about that Cole Beasley?
Yeah, he's a fast dude. He is freaking fast, man. Like, he ran around a guy the other day, the last game, and it was like ridiculous. You
Oh, he
know
did that
that?
little hook move.
Yeah, that little hook move, and he was gone, dude.
Yeah,
He's he,
the dude. I don't know what his how tall or how much he weighs, but he gives on TV. He looks like he's about 5'7", like 170 pounds. It's like
yeah,
he's a little guy.
yeah, he looks really, really short to me.
You know, you see Dwayne Harris line up in the offense every now and then too. He's been a little bit effective in the offense, you know, but I think it's just because he hasn't been given enough chances. They just kind of put him in there as a filler sometimes for special plays. Definitely a threat on special teams, but I think that guy could have a pretty good career as a receiver.
He was a receiver for a while when Miles was hurt for a few games last year.
Mm-hmm.
He was in there, and he
Okay.
he he did pretty well. I just think if he had more time, he could do better.
Yeah, yeah, I believe so.
But they just don't give him all that big of a time to do anything. But the Cowboys division's looking pretty grim. No one's really doing much. I mean, obviously the Giants are what are they 1-6? And then you
I was thinking that they were 0-7 going into that game. Am I wrong?
They were 0
0-6, I think.
yeah, they're 1-6 now.
They're 1-6.
About to be 1-7 next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone can agree on that.
And
So Jim, is it?
Who do they have?
who do we or do we have anyone in the
Yeah,
league right now
Philly.
that's still? Do we have anyone in the league right now that has not won a game yet?
Is
Isn't there one team yet? One team left? Is it Jacksonville?
Jacksonville's winless. Well, New York has Philly. I don't think that's a lock for Philly. Who's their quarterback? You know what I mean? The Giants. That's
Vic's
I-
coming back. Vic's expected
did
to
they
play
announce?
next week.
They said they were
Yeah.
thinking about that.
It's been confirmed. He is expected to play next weekend.
Yeah, I think that's what I heard too. He's expected to play. And then, Eagles and Giants. I don't know, man. That's gonna be if Vic's playing, then I'm gonna obviously give it to the Eagles because I don't think Giants are good at all. I don't think they have really much chance. What I want to know is who the fuck plans these games for the NFL? Look at this Thursday night game: Panthers and Buccaneers. Really? How exciting of a game is that? And then you got Monday night.
They got to play somebody.
Well, I mean, you got Monday night, Seahawks and Rams. Ooh, that's going to be a good blowout. Like, come on now.
I think Dallas Detroit can be an exciting game, just like how Cincinnati Detroit was last week with the two receivers. You have Des Bryant and Calvin Johnson in a
Megatron.
stadium, Megatron in Ford Field.
Speaking of which, Des Bryant put out a statement the other day, or he was asked, his thoughts on Megatron. He said he thinks he's a fantastic receiver, but he said Des Bryant says he can do everything Megatron can do.
Well, I think it was. Yeah, I think that's basically what he meant. But I think it was actually phrased as there isn't anything he can do that I can't do.
Yeah, basically this. Yeah,
but it's the same thing. Yeah, and
I would agree with that.
I believe that to be a true statement.
I agree with that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they're kind of the same height. They're both aggressive. They'll go after that ball no matter what.
Who do
And
we have to cover him? Who do you think they'll put on him?
Don't you still have those young corners that you drafted last year?
You think
I
they'll
think-
put Claiborne on him or
No,
Skandrick?
they'll put Carr.
Carr? Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
they'll put
Matter of
Carr.
fact, you're right. Yeah, they will.
You don't just put one guy in Megatron. You got to double team him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
They'll put Carr to cover him man to man, and then probably put a guy to cover over the top.
Like
Or
Scandrick or
underneath.
something.
Well,
Mary-
Lee will probably handle all the underneath work, and then maybe Skandrick over the top or something. Yeah, but they'll double team him.
Yeah. He's really the only big wide receiver threat for the Lions, am I right?
Yeah.
They're tight end, and they've got another emerging receiver. I forget his name. They were saying he'd be a good pickup for fantasy this week. And then they have.
But
I was just gonna say they have at home. Reggie Bush is really good at home. if he's healthy, I guess, minus last week.
Cowboys have been locking down big receivers. I mean, if you look at they locked down Deshaun Jackson. I mean, they didn't even score. They scored 3 points that game. They didn't even
Well, I
score a
mean,
touchdown.
I wouldn't say he's as elite as like a Calvin, and look at who their quarterback was with Nick
No, but I
Foles
mean,
coming in.
still,
Yeah, you
they
still stop them, but I mean, you haven't faced anyone nearly as good as a Calvin or a Dez type receiver. They've got a
yeah.
few guys there. It's just, is Calvin still healthy? He settled the game before last week. He played phenomenal last game. You saw that catch he caught in the middle of three guys.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, I think that's going to be a good game.
I hope they sling it. Like, I want to see both quarterbacks over 350 yards. I want to see Calvin and Dez with big games. Reggie and DeMarco. That could be a good. That's why I'm saying that would have been a good
be a
prime time
shootout.
game. Yeah, I hope
Be
so.
like a Denver Cowboys type thing,
I hope
except
so.
for with Calvin Johnson.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a really good game. Even if you're not a Dallas or Lions fan, it's still going to be good. I just hope that Romo plays like he did against Denver, and
Yeah, he needs to have a good game. He needs to have a big game here on
have
the.
ourselves a show
Oh,
because we haven't seen a good game since Denver from them offensively, at least. Just enough to get by and get these wins, but really the defense. And I think, if I recall, DeMarcus Ware might be coming back for this game, but they weren't sure.
oh, that's huge for you if he comes back.
He said he doesn't need to be out that long. He heals fast, but we'll see what happens. It'd be nice to have him back. We that way we can put the quarterback for the Lions on his ass. You know what I mean? And DeMarcus Ware really gets up in people's faces, quarterbacks' faces.
He does.
Cause some interceptions. That'd be real nice. Do we want to make our predictions for these games? I have it up right now. Let me go ahead.
I need a moment. I'm
Okay.
doing something right here. You guys can move forward with that. Let's see.
Okay.
How'd your fantasy week go?
Oh, my fantasy week. Okay, so remember I told you a few weeks ago that I had I had one. I started out the season 0-2.
Right.
So I started out the season 0-2, and I've pretty much got I picked up some random people, and I'm now 5-2.
Whoa. That's
So
crazy. Who's been big for you for the fantasy?
well, what's even crazier is I didn't even have a quarterback this week. That's what's even crazy. I had Schaub, and he was injured, and when I tried to get a new quarterback, the owner of the league denied my request for an ad of a quarterback. I don't know why he denied my request, but he did. So I didn't have a quarterback, um, and I had a wide receiver that was on bye, and I didn't have anyone to back him up. And once again, I was denied an ad. So I somehow squeaked by and won this one. And so next week, I think I'm going to win that one again because when I look at the week 8 matchup, it has me predicted to win by 56 points. And if that's the case, then I'll be 6-2, and then we'll be in business. So I'm pretty happy. How's your league going? What's your record?
We've been bad. We lost a tight one this week. We had Julio Jones has gone down. James Jones, two receivers. So I'm now 2-5. I just pulled off a trade because we're in a keeper league. So I just traded for Alfred Morris. So I hope to just come back next year, have a good draft. I got some good keepers, and
Yeah.
bounce back next year. I can still make a run for the playoffs, but it's looking pretty slim. So definitely pulled the trigger and got a better keeper in Alfred Morris.
Well, I mean, I didn't even get to draft my team. I think I told you about that. My electricity went out 10 minutes before the draft, and so I didn't even get a chance. I didn't draft this team. This was all just random generated team.
Yeah.
So, next year I think I'll be good as far as if I can draft my own team. Luckily, if I wouldn't have got Des Bryant this year, there's no way I would be,
He's
winning.
had some monster weeks, obviously. As a Cowboys fan, to have him when you're talking multiple touchdown games, had a lot of yards each game.
Yeah, he has the most points on my whole fantasy team at 90 points.
I had that in Julio Jones until I think week 4 he got his injury against the Jets or he didn't play.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tough.
So I'm hoping. I think I'm going to make it to the playoffs. I've won every game in my division so far because there's 4 divisions, and I've won every game so far. And considering that I'm on a 5-win streak, and so far the teams that I'm looking at that are coming up aren't really that big. So I think I'm good to go for the playoffs. But I don't know about winning the playoffs with this makeshift fucking team that I got going on here. Matt Shaw, Maurice Jones-Drew, Jerome Simpson, Des Bryant, Golden Tate, Mike Wallace, Jacob Tammy, Joseph Ferreira. I mean, really.
How many
Kind
team league is yours again? You said it was a deep league, didn't you?
it's deep, yeah. It's like 20 teams or
That's
something.
crazy.
How many teams is yours?
Mine's only 10 in a keeper league. We keep 4 keepers. This is our third
What
year now.
what does keeper mean?
Keeper is you get to keep. We do it set it at 4. You could do it for 2. However many players you keep for your team next year. Usually, if you join a league each year, you draft your teams. With us, we know each other from our city, so we keep 4 keepers, and then we do the draft. So I'm going to keep Julio Jones, even though he's injured. He's going to have surgery and be back next year. Ray Rice, Alfred Morris, and I'm going to keep them for my team next year.
And how do you determine who gets to keep who?
Well, you have your roster. Whoever's left on your roster, you check mark who your keepers are, and then you'll already have those guys on your roster, and then whoever you draft will be added to that roster.
Okay.
That's interesting.
I don't know anything about the structuring of fantasy football, but I think I wouldn't mind trying to play next year.
Yeah, you'll
I
have
got
a
it.
lot of fun for sure.
We'll have a WFO league next year
I'm
on
in.
NFL.com. We'll have a WFO league. I'll set it up. I'll be the commissioner. We'll do a draft. We'll do a live draft on the WFO Sportscast.
That could
You
be
guys
fun.
down?
Yeah,
I'll
that could be
keep it.
fun.
You know,
It's,
and
you
then
know, because we're surrounded we're in a network full of gamers, and from people all over the world. I don't know how many actual American NFL football fans we have in our, gaming network, but I wish we could, I wish I could meet a few more guys online that actually follow football, that we could, get interested in it.
yeah, I know somebody who could. I mean, if I know somebody who I play with who's on my team on Xbox and stuff that's we
Yeah, I
talk
could
about
help
football all
fill
the
up a
time.
league. Like if we need to fill up a league, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm in a
I
league
don't
with
want
10 people that I know. I
I
know
don't
you'd
want
rather
too big of a
have
league.
people with the network.
I don't want to have a too big of a league, but just a somewhat good league. That'd be like 10 people. I think would be fine.
10's fun. I'm open to anything. Like I'm not saying I do 10 and that's how it should be. I be interested to play a deeper league or a 10-man league. To me, I'm just in for the league, obviously.
How do they determine? How do you do the draft? I mean,
It
how
randomly selects the position of all the teams. So the 10 people, you don't know who has first overall pick until the draft starts.
It's like a real
So,
draft.
Okay.
yeah.
So what it is like yeah, like you said, you get your pick and you'll know what yours is.
Okay.
And then if you picked first, though, you have to wait. Actually, you have to wait a long time because it goes from first to, let's say there's 10 people in the league, it goes from first to 10, but the person who drafts 10th gets to draft 11th.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
then it goes, the first overall pick doesn't get a pick until 20th, and then they get the 21st pick. So, but it's still good. Obviously, it's you want the
Yeah.
first overall pick or the first so many picks.
Because then you could get you could get the best player in the league, arguably.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with football, like I'm a champion actually for basketball. That's my expertise. It's easier to pick for basketball. For football, it's much harder based on injuries. The top running backs have shuffled the top 10 the last 3 years every year.
Yeah. Like and it's like you said, more man, you pick from people in the league. I don't know if you didn't know that, but yeah, you just pick from people. Typically, people take a quarterback first, but some people take running backs, which
No,
I
it's
wouldn't
usually
do.
running backs for sure. Because all the top players are ranked running backs. Like the two quarterbacks that you would really only want to gamble, maybe two to three quarterbacks, you can make an argument that you would go first or second overall pick would be Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees. I don't know who else you'd want to take that high.
Manning.
Well, Peyton, yes, absolutely. And they had this big debate actually because we didn't know Peyton was going to be this good. And
Yeah.
there was a debate who to take over Peyton or Cam Newton.
Hmm.
And
Fuck Cam Newton, dude. I
I know
wouldn't
I
put.
would have took Peyton. I understand that. Some leagues with the point difference, though, the running touchdowns can get you extra points, or the yards, the running yards from a Kaepernick, Wilson, or a Cam Newton can make the difference as well. So that's why they were saying not to go so deep with a quarterback.
Man, I would not have picked Cam Newton.
No, I don't exactly. Their team's not strong enough, and he has been playing well. They're 3-3 now, and like you said, that Thursday night game is blah, but at least Carolina gets a chance to go 4-3. They can't blow it, right?
Yeah.
For Cam to take that next step to lead that team to a winning franchise. This is a big game, even though it is an 0-6 Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I would never.
They're also undefeated. I mean, I'm sorry,
They're
winless.
winless, right? So
Winless.
you have Tampa Bay. I think the question was Tampa Bay, and I believe Jacksonville.
Hmm.
Who else do we have here? Jacksonville's 0-7. Yeah, it's just Jacksonville and the Buccaneers.
Hmm.
All right, so you want to do the predictions now, guys?
I wanted to talk about that high school team.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I forgot about that.
this is a little
Yeah.
bit out of our NFL topic, but it is football, and it was headlines today. Um, so, two Texas high school teams faced off on Friday night, and the outcome was 91-0. So there's a team called the Western Hills, and they played Aledo High School. Aledo is undefeated right now, and they're averaging 69.3 points per game. They've been beating most of their opponents by around 60 points, and right now they're 7-0. And so after the game, one of the parents from Western Hills, I think, tweeted, or either on Twitter or Facebook, that she felt like that the opposing coach was using his players to bully her son's team, because she felt like they could have done something to avoid running up the score. Like take a knee or run out of bounds, or put in their second or third string. And actually, they did. They did put in their second and third string, and they still continue to score, because
Wow.
they're just that much better than the other teams in their division. They're a 4A team, and some people are arguing that maybe they shouldn't be in 4A. But 4A, I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but here in Texas, it's based on that's decided by the school's enrollment.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain amount, of students enrolled in school, and that will determine whether you're 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, or 5A. And so 4A here in Texas is a pretty good sized school, but they're usually in the more smaller outlying towns or rural areas. They're usually not a big city school, but they're still a fairly good sized school. 4A here in Texas is a really tough, division to be in. And so, what is your guys' opinion on, if you're going into a game and you know that your team is that good, and statistically you should go into the game and beat your opponent by 50 or 60 points? As a coach, how would you approach that?
Well, I think once you get to the 30-0 or 40-0 mark, it's time to tell your players, we need to calm down here. This is getting a little bit too out of hand. Obviously, 91-0. That's a bit ridiculous. And
Well, 91-0. Sorry, go ahead.
if someone did that in, like, let's say, the NFL, people would be up in arms about it. Not just, the other team itself, but just everybody would think that that's just absolutely ridiculous. You don't do something like that, run the score up that high just to make yourself feel better. I think it's a bit ridiculous.
Well, I think on any level, if a score is that uneven or that out of balance, I think at any level there's going to be cause for some type of conversation about it. But like the coach said in the article, what is he supposed to do? Tell little Johnny, who comes to practice every day, 5 days a week, not to score a touchdown?
Well, that's bullshit because there's tons of games. He has obviously if they're that fucking good, they can score a touchdown in any other game that's
Well,
coming
it
up. It doesn't
depends
need to
on
be that
when.
game.
They only play 12 games in high school, I believe.
And you have to remember it's what is the score when they put in the second and third stringer, because those guys also deserve a chance to play.
That may be his only chance to score a touchdown in his high school football career. If he's third string on a team that's that good, the chances of him even getting playing time are slim.
Well, if they're that good, then they should be needing to put in their
How
second
old
and
are
third
we
string
talking here?
no matter what.
They're high school, so they're
Like senior?
They're 15 to 18 years old.
Yeah, no. Then you have players, maybe those top schools, their backup quarterbacks are also going to get a chance to go to a university.
Yeah.
So any gameplay experience is good for him.
Yeah,
I know what the parents are saying. 91-0 is a little excessive. At some point,
Yeah.
I think you could run the ball a little bit.
Yeah,
I'd have to see footage. I'd have to see footage before I could really make a complete judgment.
Yeah, for copyright reasons, I don't believe I can show.
No,
They do
of
have a
course
clip
not.
on the website, but it's fox4.com,
I'll take a look at it.
foxnews.com. And I played high school football, and we had a team beat us 72-7 or 10. I think
It
wasn't a blowout. I mean, it was a blowout, but it wasn't. They didn't. We did score, so they didn't completely shut us out. But what their team did is they just ran the ball a lot. It just so happened though that they had a running back who had already been accepted to a Division I college team. So for them to
He ran all over.
So for them to say, okay, well, we're just not going to throw the ball, we're going to run the ball, which, you would think it would be not as effective, but it was actually the worst out of the two they could have done because the dude was really big. He was one of the biggest guys on the field.
Well, you got to have a backup, hopefully, to not just feed the monster the ball all game if you're up by a certain score.
If I'm the coach of the team, the superior team, I would definitely I'd start my starters for the first, definitely the first quarter, possibly the first half. We'd get our comfortable lead. We'd give the scouts a show, let them see what our kids can do. Then after the half, I'd put in our second or third string players, give those guys a chance to play because they probably don't get much time to play. And the reason that they wouldn't get that much time to play is, it's not just because the team is so good. Oh, you're thinking, the team's so great. Well, then you could play the second and third string all the time. But then what good does it do to have a first string? And then those kids are trying to get a college scholarship, so they need playing time for their resume. Then you got the second and third string guys. They need that experience so that they can take the place of the starters when they graduate. So they need that experience too. But the only thing you could do is put in second or third string and let them play, but let them play to the best of their ability. I would think, at a minute, at the least you could do, I guess, if you get it down in the red zone, maybe is just opt for a field goal. But then you have to ask yourself, are we insulting the other team? Or the other team could say, well, come on guys, play football. We don't expect you to lay down for us, and we don't want a pity score or a pity win. We already know you're going to win, So let's just play football, wrap this thing up, and get on down the road so we can prepare for our next game. I don't know. There's just so many different ways you could approach it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think it's right. I mean, I get that they want playtime, but at the same time, you're potentially hurting those other players on that other team. So I don't
Well,
know
they
about
should
that.
be playing. I mean, if we're talking senior men's boys football, it's just one mother on Twitter. Really, I don't really wouldn't even
Well,
pay much mind.
because of the law, the principal of the school or the superintendent, I believe, has to do an investigation because of the bullying. Bully is a serious offense, even though it's probably not a warranted accusation. Just because she accused the other team of bullying, they've got a it's a protocol to at least
Hmm.
investigate it. It'll probably end up in as nothing, but they'll at least have to investigate it.
Yeah.
But I think she's embarrassed the school and embarrassed her son because her son plays on the team.
Yep.
So I think she's embarrassed everyone by doing it.
Yeah, clearly.
I think that it could have been handled differently. They interviewed the coach and some of the players of the team that lost, and the boys that they interviewed didn't seem, or at least in front of the camera, didn't seem upset about the whole thing. They said, "Look, the way we look at it is they beat everybody that they played that bad, so we lost a game." However, they did lose 91 to nothing, not 69 to nothing, like a lot of the other teams. But one kid was like, "Well, they beat everybody. They're just that good." And
Yeah, I
another
mean,
kid said, "Well, we don't. The only thing I have to say about it is I don't believe that they belong in the 4A, but they can't bump them out of 4A because they're not big enough." And even though they're really good, I've seen it happen before. Like we had a team here in Texas. Um, I forget what the name of the team. Carroll, South Lake Carroll, North Texas team, and they would go undefeated like every single year, pretty much. They bumped them up to 5A because their school grew, and then they started losing games because the
Mm.
5A they're the big dogs, and no matter how good your team is, you move up to 5A and you're gonna have your hands full because everybody in 5A is at least as good as a mediocre or good team in 4A. And then you've got the top tier 5A teams that run all over the top tier 4A teams. It's happened many times. There's another team, I think Odessa Permian. Have you heard of Odessa Permian?
Mm. No, I
They're,
don't watch very
they're
much high school.
well, they're one of the most famous or well-known high school football teams in the nation. They've actually gone decades without losing games before.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I believe they moved up to 5A, and they started getting beat too.
Wow.
It's happened to them as well.
It's ridiculous, man. Well, I hope they don't. Well, I mean, I think they should move them up, but I don't think they'll get beat that much like you think they would if they moved them up. You know what I mean?
The competition's quite a bit stiffer in the 5A because they do actually coaches will recruit students from other school districts to come to their school district. They
Hmm.
can't pay them any money or anything like that, obviously, but they will recruit kids, from other school districts to come play. Plus, all the good 5A athletes, they generally get the scholarships.
Yeah,
It's
that
not
makes
like
sense.
it's not likely, or it doesn't happen often when 3A and 4A teams, their players get chosen to go to get recruited to Division 1 schools. The competition is quite a bit bigger. I mean, quite a bit better. Even though it's not just because you're looking at a population of a school enrollment. It's actually there is a lot better talent there.
Yeah,
But not saying that they couldn't be competitive in 5A, but they wouldn't go undefeated.
probably not. No. Jim, I know that when we talked on Skype and I asked you if you planned on being on every week for predictions, you said you weren't going to be able to. Is that correct?
yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're not sure. So, Mortimer, how do you want to do it? Because I was telling him, if you plan on being on, then that makes sense to do predictions with him as well. But if not, you know, we don't want to do predictions and next week he's not on, and then it's kind of for nothing.
Well, we can still put him in the mix, and
Yeah, yeah.
if
You
he's
don't have to
not,
keep
if
my
he's
total, but you can keep my see
yeah,
if I'm
yeah,
somewhat of a legit.
we can keep his numbers, and then we can announce them.
Well, you don't
Next.
have to announce them if I'm not here. We all know. Maybe if I go, it's up to you guys either
Yeah,
way.
well, I think what we'll do is we'll just keep a running tally of us three predictions each week, and if you win next week, even if you're not on the show live, uh, we'll still say it. That way, it'll still be a part of the
I
show.
will do my best to show up each week.
Okay.
Okay. I have this ready if you guys are ready to do that.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
some shockers for you.
All
Actually,
right. Now I don't have to do anything right now except just tell you what my predictions are.
Correct.
Right.
All right, so we got Panthers and Buccaneers.
I have the Panthers.
So do I. What
Yeah.
about you, Mormon?
Panthers.
I'll just put all. I'm not gonna write all the
Okay.
things, because it takes too long to do. All right. So, how about the 49ers Jaguars?
Niners.
I'm gonna go with 49ers.
Yeah. I'm
So all
I'm
again.
trying to keep from getting swayed from from y'all's choices. But sometimes it's just a gimme.
Well, it's obvious who's gonna pick the Jaguars to beat the 49ers.
Yeah.
That'd be silly to also sway your decision that way just because we're choosing this.
Yeah, just to be different.
Browns and Chiefs. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
What's the Browns' record right now?
I have
3 and
no
4.
idea. Three and four.
Yeah. I don't see that happening. Yeah, I see the Chiefs. Chiefs.
I
beating
also
them.
have the Chiefs. Yeah.
Okay. So far, we're all agreeing on the same games.
Well, it's
Those
like
ones. There's a few I know we'll disagree on.
all around the league right now. There's just so many lopsided matchups.
Yeah.
It's like you were saying earlier. Who in the hell picked the schedule?
Yeah.
Schedule is always based on facts and stats mathematically from the wins and losses from last season.
Yeah, I figured it's got something like it was predetermined last year. So I mean, nobody knew that the Chiefs were going to go undefeated or the Broncos were going to have such a season that they're having right now. You couldn't possibly know.
Yeah. All right. So we got the Dolphins and the Patriots. I'm gonna go with the Patriots.
Patriots.
Yes, Patriots.
Oh. All right. And so the streak continues. We still have to come up with a tiebreaker as well, guys.
I already know a few that'll disagree with you.
I mean tiebreaker for if we tie, like we all have the same
Well, you
amount
do
of
the
games
points
won.
for the Monday night, or you pick the total number of points that you think will combine the Seattle and St. Louis game.
All right, so we got Bills and Saints.
Hmm.
I'm gonna have to go with the Saints.
I just picked up the Saints defense, so let's stop them Bills this week for sure.
How about you, Motorman?
What are the Bills' record right now?
3 and 4.
3 and 4, yeah.
And
I believe-
the Saints have only lost one game.
To the
Yep.
Patriots, right?
Yeah.
Very good Patriots team.
Yep.
Yeah, Saints for me too.
All right.
I'm itching though to go. I'm itching here to go different. Just what's the next one? Give me the next one. Hurry
All
up.
right. Lions and Cowboys.
Yeah.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
I got the Lions.
I
All right.
want the Cowboys to win. That doesn't mean that I necessarily think that they're the better team, but I do believe that we'll win. Yeah, Cowboys for me.
All
I
right.
got the Lions at home.
Oh, I'm gonna have to put V for me instead
The
of
Lions.
J.
I want to look up what the Lions' record is against Cowboys.
I'm gonna put Jim for you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. First disagreement so far amongst us. All right. Next game is Giants and Eagles. Now, here's the question for you guys. Is Michael Vick playing for sure? I need to know this.
Yes.
Okay, then I'm taking the Eagles.
And they're playing who? The Eagles are playing who? The Giants.
Giants. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's the I think it's the Eagles all day long.
I got the Giants on the road.
All right, so another disagreement. You seem to be picking the wild cards here. I don't know if I'd pick the Giants on the road against the Eagles, but I guess it's better than all agreeing. Steelers and Raiders. I'm going with the Steelers. What about you guys?
Steelers and Raiders.
Yep.
Steelers.
I have the Steelers on the road.
All right. So next one will be Jets and Bengals. I'm going with the Jets.
Oh, the upset on the road, keeping the momentum going. The Jets. I got Cincinnati at home.
Cincinnati at home. That is a ballsy move, my friend.
What? The 5-2 Bengals at home against the Jets? I understand the
gutsy
Jets
move.
are 4-3. The gutsy move is you took the Jets. That's the underdog.
I don't know, man.
We'll see. I'm not saying that you're wrong. Well, I guess I am in a way, but you won't find too many people taking the Jets on Sunday against the Bengals.
What about you, Mortarman?
Jets versus Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking Bengals.
All right.
The Lions are the Dallas Cowboys and the Detroit Lions. Their Cowboys are 13-11 against the Lions.
I think Dallas has won the last so many matchups.
Falcons
think-
and Cardinals.
I've got the Falcons.
Yeah, so do I.
The Cowboys have beaten up on the Lions in one game I can remember.
What do you got on that game, Mortarman?
Falcons.
All right, so we all picked the Falcons. Okay. That's I hope we get these games right for all the ones we're picking all for. All right, so Redskins and Broncos. I'm gonna have to go with the Broncos.
Oh yeah, Broncos.
Broncos at home.
Definitely got that one on lockdown. All right, next one is
Prime
the
time
Packers and Vikings.
in Minnesota.
Going with the Packers.
Yeah, I got the Packers. Even with all the injuries at receiver, I still think the Packers get it done.
How about you, Mortarman? You think the Vikings are gonna upset the Packers?
Mm,
That's a ballsy move, man. That is a ballsy move.
nah, not with the way they played against Washington.
New York, you mean?
I mean, yeah, New York.
I think there's going to be a lot of points on both sides. RG3 getting in the groove with Alfred Morris and the Broncos.
Oh yeah.
See.
I'm gonna say Vikings because I want to see Redskins continue. I want to see Redskins lose. So
Well, it's Green Bay versus the Vikings.
I'm
not-
sorry, I'm all mixed up. I'm still thinking about the Redskins game.
Wait. You want Broncos? You're gonna switch your Redskins? Your Broncos
no,
picked the
no.
Reds?
No, I brought up that game for some reason. That's my
Okay.
fault.
Okay.
So then I had RG3 stuck in my head.
Yeah,
All right.
that's my fault.
Seahawks and Rams.
I got Seattle on the road.
Yeah, I did.
Inconsistent.
What was the last game you were just we were just predicting though?
Packers
Green
and
Bay
Vikings.
Vikings. Yeah, did you want the Green Bay or the Vikings?
Green Bay.
Yeah. So the last game is Seahawks and Rams. Who you got on?
Rams.
What? My lord, you're just pulling that pick out of your ass.
I'm just gonna go for it.
All right, man. That's a risk. That you're
Seattle's 50% on the road with Russell Wilson, but with Sam Bradford Going down, I got Seattle for sure.
All right, man. I don't know about that pick, man. You want to reconsider?
Let me look at some stats right quick. Give me a second.
All right. I don't know, man. That's a risky move, dude. That is a risky move. I'm not sure I'd be comfortable with that.
I played under one of the coaches. I mean, one of the players. One of my coaches when I played semi-pro football played for the 1983 Rams.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. So let's see here. Awkward silence.
Yeah. I was
So St. Louis is 3-4 right now,
mhm.
and Seattle is 6-1. Yeah.
And you're gonna
Not,
pick. You're
not
gonna
looking
pick.
good.
Are you staying with that pick?
Yeah. What the hell not? Why the hell not? Let's do it.
All right. All
Hey,
right.
there's
So
lots of good 3-4 teams in the league right now. And
so
there's a few.
let's do a tiebreaker. Um,
Why do we
point.
need a tiebreaker though? If we're just going to
Just in
continue
case
Can
you just
continue adding points though throughout the season.
Oh, that's
for the individual week though, what you'll want to do, because you might not always count mine for the year, in any pool, what you do in case there is a tie for that week is you pick total points for the Monday night game. So if you think Seattle will win 21-14, then you pick 35 points. You think
well.
of what the outcome will be in the total number of
The
points.
way I think we were gonna do it before is kind of like an actual like if this was a game, we would have ties. Like we would just let it be a tie for that week because we're doing it like each week. Like I just got 1 point for winning this week, and that's 1 point for the total season. You know what I mean?
Right, but what if you pick the same points, you and him, and it's a tie? How do you figure who gets the point for that week?
We're just letting it be a tie.
Oh, you're putting it as a tie?
Yeah.
Because
The
the
likelihood of
point the
that
points
happening.
carry the points will carry over from week to week.
Like right now, I have 1 point, and then if I win next week, I'll have 2 points. If I lose next week, I'll have one, and he'll have one. It's kind of like a
Yeah,
record.
I understand how the system goes, but I would think you would want a winner
Right.
each week.
Oh, so you don't, even though you got 10 picks out of 8, or I had 8 picks and you had 10 picks, but because you got more than me, you have 1 point. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It means I won this week.
Okay.
It's basically like a game.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. But I mean, the likelihood of us tying in a week is kind of slim, I would think.
Out of so many games, yeah, because there's always going to be a couple
Well, you
of
went
games
8 and 10.
there's going to be a
All,
couple
all
of
it took was
games.
one game. If you both agreed on the Denver game, then it's 9. 9 wins each.
Yeah, I think there's always going to be one game out of the week that's going to be could go either way kind of thing, or
Of course.
or
I
or,
mean,
or
do we?
emotions get in the way.
The only thing is, though, is if we have a tie at the end of the season, I have, let's say I have 10 points and you have 10 points, then we'd have to come up with an end of the season tiebreaker
Yeah, maybe we
versus
pick a
a.
spread or something.
Well, because you guys started in week 7, as long as you have no ties, then you don't have to worry about that. If you have a
Well,
tie,
I'm saying if we allow ties, I guess if we allow ties throughout the whole season, what we could do as kind of like a tiebreaker is predict the Super Bowl, and whoever gets that game right will obviously be the winner.
a showdown, you could do that.
Yeah, so I mean, if it ends up the season, I have 10 points and you have 10 points, Mortarman, then we'll each pick a team from the Super Bowl, and whoever wins, that'll be the tiebreaker, I guess, maybe. Okay.
All right.
Um, so I have this done. So just to go back over the picks, we all picked the Panthers against the Buccaneers. We all picked the 49ers to beat the Jaguars. We all picked the Chiefs to beat the Browns. We all picked the Patriots to beat the Dolphins. We all picked the Saints to beat the Bills. Me and Moorman picked the Cowboys to beat the Lions. Jim, you picked the Lions. Jim picked the Giants to beat the Eagles. Me and Moorman picked the Eagles to beat the Giants. We all picked the Steelers to beat the Raiders. I picked the Jets to beat the Bengals. You guys picked the Bengals to beat the Jets. We all picked the Falcons to beat the Cardinals. We all picked the Broncos to beat the Redskins. We all picked the Packers to beat the Vikings. Jim and I picked the Seahawks to beat the Rams, and Mortarman with the out of nowhere right field pick for the Rams to beat the Seahawks. Yeah. And I'm gonna be so pissed if that happens.
Hey, it's on any given Sunday, my brother.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
You have to remember they are all professionals and they've been playing all of their life. This is what they do.
Yeah, I guess. That's like out of nowhere. But I think that will be it for this week. What do you guys say?
That sounds all right.
All right. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this week's Sportscast.
Oh yeah, it was a good show, and we will get better as we go too. I think the season's just going to get more and more exciting. We'll grow followers and viewers as we go along, and it's still a new show, and we have a lot to learn I have a lot to learn as a fan and as a follower of NFL, and so this is definitely going to be a learning experience for me, and I love sports. I love sports radio, and this is the closest thing that we can get right now to sports radio here on the internet. So this is a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, I enjoy doing it a lot. And Jim, you're always welcome to be on the show whenever you want.
Appreciate it. It was a lot of fun this week.
Always welcome and expected.
Yes.
And expected. Yes.
I should be a regular. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. That would be
We need to
ideal.
get into some heated arguments.
Oh, I'm sure that will come about very, very soon.
Sports conversation.
Yeah, there's always going to be a little controversy.
We'll have some drinks. We'll talk about football and religion and politics, and we'll call it a night.
Yeah.
Definitely won't be talking about religion and politics. Definitely football.
Some feelings might get hurt and some babies might get punched.
I believe in football more than politics or religion anyway. I don't know what that says about
babies.
Person. But
about babies getting punched, but that's a little excessive.
You haven't heard that before in Xbox Live lobbies where punching babies?
Oh, I don't mess around with that stuff. I don't condone that type of humor.
I don't say it like I actually want to do it.
I'm just joking.
I did say it the other day when I was playing Modern Warfare 3. I was like, "This makes you want to fucking punch a baby." I was not happy.
See, that's what I mean. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
But I don't say it a lot. It's usually just when I play games that are shit.
I think it's just fun. It's just one of those. It's just funny.
It's funny because
for somebody to actually want to punch a baby, you got to be pretty damn pissed off.
Even I would never be that pissed off.
I know, it's just a saying.
I know. You know how people like
things where you had to be there.
Yeah, it was kind of you got to be there type deal. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I hope everybody enjoyed the Sportscast, and we are going to try and stream more on WFO and on the Next Gamer. Or TNG Mortarman, sorry. So if you guys want to check out that stream, if you like gaming streams and other podcasts about just everything else besides football, go check out TNG Mortarman.
Yeah, and follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/WFO Entertainment, youtube.com/WFO Entertainment. Join us next week, guys, for Sportscast Weekly. I'm Mortarman with Insane Pain Game and Purest Visions, and we are Audi 5000.
Peace out, bitches.
Peace.